Hello, welcome to the Grat Crag podcast. Today we are talking about queer cinema in honor of Pride Month. I'm Grace and I'm joined here with Jacob, and we're going to talk about some of our favorite queer films and then some quick fire questions on what we like about cinema and TV. Yeah.
Before we get started, we're just going to say huge spoiler warning. And
Yes,
if you have not watched these films that we're about to list off, which are
but I'm a cheerleader. Carol.
Red, Red, White, and Royal Blue, and Prom, plus some other shows that we'll mention later, click off now because we and watch those things before coming back to this one.
If you really, really want to listen to us talk about some of the films which you have seen, but not ones that you haven't, then just skip forward about 5-10 minutes when we start talking about that film, and hopefully you should miss those spoilers. And then come back and listen to them because we need the views. So
Please.
please. Um, okay, so I'm gonna kick it off with But I'm a Cheerleader, which I would probably have to say is my favorite queer film. Thing that I love most about this film is just the way that they use comedy to spread awareness, which I think is it's so 90s and 2000s. We don't really do it anymore. And I think it's just such a good way to show these things because if you can laugh at something and like see how ridiculous it is, then that group of people who are being like rude or discriminated against people, they can't be taken seriously anymore. And
It's
that's
like
how you
South
take away the
Park, right?
power. Sorry?
It's like South Park. It's like South Park because obviously they're making fun of the people who think like that, not like I think this is a good
Exactly.
idea.
Yeah, I think it's the same with lots of like sitcoms around the 90s and 2000s, where it's like if you can laugh at these people for saying these ridiculous things, then they lose their power. And I think there's something so well powerful about that, which is
Mhm.
really what this film has. So it begins with Megan at cheer practice, and it's kind of it's from the beginning, it's saying she's a lesbian. And I love that because quite a lot of times with queer representation, halfway through the film or halfway through show after a season, so it'll be like, we've run out of options. Let's just make them gay and introduce a gay love interest, but not have written it in from the beginning because we need the diversity or whatever. And I think it's really good that they who go from the beginning say this is a queer film, and it's really, really good watching that. So you've got a kind of montage with music about her looking at girls at cheer practice, and there's quite a lot of close-ups there, which are a little bit more suggestive. And it cuts to her in a car making up with her boyfriend, and it's very obvious that she isn't really interested in him. You can see from just the look on her face. It's just like so blank and so like I'm having an awful time right now. It's just, and it cuts to lots of those other close-ups of these cheerleaders, and you can be like, it's not looking like she's interested in boys. It's looking more like she's interested in girls. Um, and the music makes it so funny as well because it's so kind of like magical fairy tale when they're kissing, and then it's like dramatic and like kind of dun 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 sort of vibes when it's cuts to the close-ups of the cheerleaders. Um, and again with the comedy around serious issues, they do the same thing with stereotypes. Like there's no, they kind of fit into the stereotypes throughout the film, and I think the main time you see that is about mainly just why they sent her to conversion camp, which it's because she does not come out as lesbian until she's already there. They just see that she's a vegetarian, she doesn't fit in, and they go, you know what, that means we've got to send you to conversion camp, which is so ridiculous because if you think about it, it's kind of like those are almost the things that society has a problem with. They have a problem with with the stereotypes, but not actually them what they do behind closed doors because that really shouldn't matter. And it doesn't really. It's the stereotypes that I think people have a problem with, and they see entire communities through these stereotypes. And if you can see these how ridiculous that is, then they hold no power in society anymore. And that is the magic of the film. I'm going to keep saying this. but it's what makes the film so good. I just find it so funny when like it's her mum, she gives her the plate at the dinner table. It's got a mac and cheese instead, I think, instead of meat. And the dirty look is insane. The way the dad says when they're doing their prayers or, doing the classic holding hands, I think that's very American as well. Never really met anyone in
Yes.
England who does that, but
I used to be friends with a guy called I don't know what to say his name, but I'm just gonna call him Jesus. And I went to Burger King with his family, and I was about to tuck in. All of them started holding hands and about to pray, and I was like,
oh.
uh, "Hey, man."
It's that kind of thing. They all sit there holding hands, and dad's just like, yeah, may God lead us on the path that we're meant to go down and stuff. And it's very obvious that he isn't supposed to be saying, please let my daughter be straight, but he's saying it. And it is kind of
Tell me
funny.
you don't want your Tell me your daughter. Tell me you don't want your daughter to be gay without telling me you don't want your daughter to be gay.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's just funny. And I think the whole mise en scène of the real world in quote marks, the world outside of conversion camp where it's very straight, it's very, you know, sort of society
Monochrome.
norm. Sorry?
Monochrome.
Monochrome, yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of monochrome and dull in like what's happening, but also through the mise en scène choices around costume and sets and props and everything. Just lots of the characters are dressed in browns and like dull oranges. I feel like a few kind of whites as well. It's it isn't exciting to look at, and it's very kind of just boring. And I think that also further reflects how, you know, the world needs a bit of gayness because it does. Um,
Indeed,
and
indeed,
then
indeed.
then they go to the conversion camp and it's the complete opposite. It is Barbie's dream house or Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa house. And it's it's like just block colors, bright colors, and it looks ridiculous. It it reminds me of me like my Minecraft buildings when I was like 5 or something, and it's just blocks of different colors. It's just that kind of vibe, and it's got the childhood sort of elements I feel like to it with especially the leader of conversion camp because she's very you know, pushing on the social norms. It's almost like the childhood's fantasies as well, where, the kind of girls grow like aspiring to be princesses and wives and men aspiring to be macho and everything. It's yeah. And it really, really reflects that with the pinks and the blues, and they're very obvious pinks and blues. It's like you look at them and you go, whoa, that is pink and blue. It's not like something you can't notice. It it's straight into your eye. You just look at it and it isn't subtle. You look at it and it's girls in pink, boys in blue. It's
Mhm.
so I want to say black and white, but pink and blue in the way that it's made. And it just looks so forced. And like I feel that does kind of reflect society at some points. And then they have the whole kind of thing about the gender re-identifying, they call it, part of the conversion camp. And they're just so silly, I feel like. Because you've got the boys trying to chop woods, and there's one character who's really, really camp, and he does it like I can't act it out, but it's a proper like, oh my god, I'm trying to chop the wood, and even watching this on video to see how silly I look. It's even more silly than that, and he it just looks so ridiculous, and I love it. It's just so like he's just like I'm not made for this, but also like that does not make you gay. That just makes you, yourself.
Unfit to chop wood.
Yeah, it's like it just seems so stupid and everything. And you've got the girls sort of being forced to be like, when you make, tea for your husbands, when you're living with your husbands and cleaning the house, which I found very unsettling to watch because I feel like it's very unsettling as a girl because you can kind of imagine times in your life when teachers have said stuff like that, or when family members or any other adults in your life have said to you, oh, you do need to learn how to cook and clean because one day you will have a husband and family. I remember like my food tech teacher saying something like that to me when I was about 7, and I was like, I just didn't even question it. And now looking back, it's so weird. And that
Mm.
film just elevates the amount of weirdness again through the mise en scène. It's so, I'm going to keep talking about it because it is what makes the film so recognizable through just the way they do that. And they have it the whole way through as well. But I think especially through the kind of gender re-identifying stuff. You've got one scene where they're vacuuming the floor and they're kind of doing it in almost like a dance like. I think there is music playing, and they kind of do it, as a in and out kind of like 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4 kind of movement. And this the cinematography does reflect that with the framing. It's very, very symmetrical, apart from Graham, the character who isn't trying to conform, and she's like happy being herself. She's just there to please her parents so she can get her trust fund and then be a lesbian by herself after they've died. She's just kind of like after she's turned 18 or whatever. It's she you know she is not there for herself like some of the other girls and boys are. Um and it's good for her, and she does really stand out throughout the film. I think that seems really obvious because she completely throws off the symmetry. If she was taken out, it would be 100% symmetrical shots, but because she's there, it completely throws it off, and I think that is like really reflects her personality. um I've got to mention Rock, the son of the conversion camp leader, because she's like, oh my god, look at my gay son, and he's the canvas man to ever exist. Exactly, the little, hey girls, I'm straight. Like, you're not.
Mm.
I think there are a few kind of slow-mo looks between him and one of the other like members of the male staff who are helping the boys try to gender re-identify or whatever. Um, I found that so funny. They have a similar thing with RuPaul where I believe it was before Drag Race, but they were like everyone, I feel like everyone still knew he was gay probably, and because he's as a celebrity, I think he is very, very open, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think I would kind of call him an activist as well. Like he does, he is very
Oh
open.
yeah.
He pushes for being open and being comfortable with your sexuality, which is really, really good. And I find it so funny in the film watching him being like, I've seen you in drag on TV. And he's there like, yes, I'm a straight man. I find it so funny. Um, and then finally you have the graduation scene at the end where it's looks like a wedding. And this is where I will be talking about spoilers, this scene especially. Um,
Mm.
they're all in their plastic kind of stuff that looks like the weird plastic dresses you'd have for your Barbies and Polly Pockets as a kid, which just seems so fake. Like you're looking at them like you do not look well. Some of them do suit pink, but the girls, they look very plasticky, very forced Barbie kind of vibes, and it's very just looks wrong. And especially when they've got, because they are meant to be teenagers, and then they're in this wedding setting with like white chairs and an arch, and it's just like, what's going on here? It looks so weird. Um, and then you have Megan coming back in her cheer outfit from the first scene. And it's kind of got that sort of reminds me of, she's always been herself. It doesn't matter if she's gay or she's straight. She's a cheerleader, and that's who she is. And it's just so lovely. She does a little cheer chant. She comes back for Graham, and then they drive off together into the sunset. And I don't actually know if there is a sunset, I can't remember. But they drive off together. And it's such a lovely, moving thing there that I just love. I think it's so beautiful, that last scene. And the whole way through, just the mise en scène is so amazing. I just love it so much. Yeah. And that's my thoughts on But I'm a Cheerleader. I will be handing over to you now, Jacob.
Okay, my first film I want to be talking about is Red, White, and Royal Blue. Um, I, Jacob James Paul Powell, full name, anyway, will go on record and I will say this film is the first film in my entire 18 years of living that made me cry.
I can't believe it's the first film you've cried at.
It is the first film I cried at. Not even Lion King got me that emotional. And trust me,
I don't mean The Lion King, like you didn't cry at, I would say Titanic, but I also did not cry at Titanic. But
there's so
I
many
cry at
sad
weird
films.
stuff. Jojo Rabbit, did that not make you cry?
No, I was like, damn, that's crazy.
I cried at Jojo Rabbit.
But two gay men can make me cry. Good to know. Anyway, so basically, what this um film is about is based on a book by
If I go to my bookshelf,
yeah
Casey McQuiston.
Katie McQuiston or something like that. And then it was made into a film on Amazon Prime. Um, basically, this is about the president's son, called Alex, and the Prince of England called Prince Henry the Third. I won't say full names because they are so, but they are very long, like other things in this film. But yeah, many people. The two films I'm going to be talking about, most people didn't like as well. But me personally, I very much like these films for their own reasons. But so how this film goes is basically Alex and Henry at the start of the film they hate each other. Classic enemies to lovers tale. But first of all, they hate each other, and there's a massive scandal that goes on when they had a fight, and it goes and they fall into a massive wedding cake because at a wedding. Um, this way there's news coverage, like it's global news. Everyone's like, I'm saying, and the president's like, this is going to go down for my votes. Like, you need to sort this out. So he gets sent over to England and basically does some press coverage, being saying, look, we're actually friends. Everything was just a big mistake. So then they kind of become like friends, but they also kind of like dig on each other a bit, which is like most male friends, as most people know. And what is true.
Is it?
Like, yeah, Sam just
I would say that
thinks of
with
me all the time.
queer female friendship groups from my experience, but you're
Yeah.
gonna say
Mm.
straight cis men are like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like
Okay,
we
interesting.
call each other fat, we call each other stupid, I can't say some of the words on here because I don't want you to get cancelled. But but we call each other some really nasty stuff. But like
Okay.
yeah, that's all men who's watching this can agree. But yeah,
If you're male, please drop in the comments if there's a comment section on whatever you're streaming this from. Let us know. Do you relate to this?
yeah. But anyway, so they dig on each other a bit and eventually Alex like, you know what, I'm gonna invite him to my New Year's Eve party at the back of the White House. And that's when they share their first kiss. Basically, Alex is going basically how I see Alex, he's basically being used for coverage. Like as this son, his entire personality is look at me, I've got the pretty face. Look, right here, look, right here, look at me. Yeah. So that's his entire thing. And the same with Henry. He's like he is called called in like in the film. The I think it was like the Prince of the British Hearts or something like that, something similar to that. Don't quote me on it. So the whole thing is like they're both adored by their countries and thinking they're like the perfect man to be, and like the whole like every man should look up to him and every woman wants to be with him, basically. And this film has the best coming out scene I've ever seen with Alex and his mum, and the utterly worst coming out scene with Henry in the same film. So this is why we say spoilers at the beginning, because I want to just go straight into
Go for
the scene. I want to go for the scene that made me cry. All right. So Alex has this old lover who used to be a reporter, and basically what this guy did, he hacked into Alex's emails and basically leaked them all over the internet with Henry. And every single photo, every text message, every email of them having like this love thing has now been posted publicly. And obviously, being in line to the royal throne, if you're gay, you're most likely not gonna. Uh-uh. bad.
Uh,
So he has to break up. He has to break up with Alex to protect protect him and stuff. And there's a scene where he like Henry just breaks down like on the stairs, like, and eventually Alex does gets on a jet, flies over there, and he just breaks down into Alex's arms, cries his entire eyes out, and that scene that gave me trauma, and like because imagine having your entire world just opened up to everyone to see without your permission, like as a man who has been forced out of the closet is a terrible thing to go through. And if I was the Prince of England and all my emails got leaked saying I had a gay love affair, I would probably be the same. And but the way I see it at the end, which was like he Alex has this final speech basically saying, "Yeah, it's all true. Me and the prince have had this relationship, but the fact that it happened and it's got leaked is something that should never have happened. We're not trying to hide our love, but we still want our privacy, and it should never have come out this way. To the people that have done this, you are really bad people." And yeah, the and I just like the way how it all came together again, because usually at the end, like there'll be love interest and they'll get together, they hug and kiss and all that, which they do, kind of. But like the end scene, instead of like them hugging and kissing, like on fucking front of the White House, the last scene is them, the president, prime minister, and them two together, basically standing on stage. The president and the prime minister are shaking hands, and them two are just having a arm around each other like this. And it just proves that even though you're gay, you don't have to be, oh, look at me, I'm so
yeah,
like
it's
that.
a lot in
But
queer cinema, I think.
you can still be professional, like you can still be natural as a normal human being without being flamboyant, which is what most gay people are like personified as. They're the flamboyant type, the ones that are like showing up and showing out. But yeah, that is what I like about it. I do see why people don't like it as much as the book because me personally, I've never read the book. You've read the book,
I
and you've
have. I
said,
think the book is completely different plot wise. I think it's I still think some of the best moments they do capture in the film,
yeah.
which I'm really thankful for, but the plot is completely different. I would personally say that I prefer the plot in the book, but that is my personal opinion. I think it
Do
just
you
depends what you want. Yeah.
do you want to tell the plot of the book? Because I don't. Me
Oh,
personally, don't know. I haven't read it,
yeah.
so
So basically in the book, it's like, what is it like? So it's more the reporter isn't one of Alex's exes. It's like a completely independent character who's kind of like he isn't particularly he's not a good character, but you kind of then also have, which I believe was cut in the film, the this other politician who is openly gay and kind of relates to Alex a little bit. There isn't anything going on between them that I remember. It's been a while since I read the book and watched the film, but the book's kind of it's a the reporter is less like they do leak stuff, but it's not there are leaks, but it isn't leaked in the same way, and the reporter isn't one of Alex's exes. That's kind of the main differences, but also the history her line is kind of, which I think is so powerful, is so I in the film it's sent over email, right?
yeah, everything was over email. There were some letters though that
Yeah,
was
so
published, but those were never
the
given
book's
out because they
different in
weren't
that
physical
sense
copies.
because in the book they say it while they're in the museum together,
Oh
and
yeah, they were.
someone
That's also in the film. Sorry.
yeah, I think the timeline slightly shifts, but there's actually Oh, I might be getting the wrong way around, but I know in one of them, History Her is sent over email, and one of them it's a video recording. So, and I found that slightly different. I was a bit kind of like, oh, they've done it like that. But you can interpret a book in so many different ways. It's the same for film. And I think they gave us a good interpretation with like a slightly different plot, which,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't completely heartbroken over the change in plots. I feel like some people were. Yeah.
yeah, and all credit to the actors in the film because I do believe neither of them are gay themselves.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's 100% accurate. I think some of them might be, but I don't think
I
I
know
don't
the
think the
actor who
actor plays.
plays Henry is straight because I've seen a quote from him about playing gay characters, even though he's straight. I
Yeah,
think he
that
was
he
saying,
played a perfectly natural gay person. Even though he's like Prince of England, he's the most naturalistic gay person I've seen on screen,
especially
apart from
around
Mitch.
the debate that like only gay actors should be able to play gay characters. This is
Oh,
kind of
100%
evidence
not.
that isn't entirely true. Like straight people can play gay characters. It's more of a equity kind of reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all me done about
Okay.
red, white, and royal blue.
I will now be
Passing the coat
talking
to
about
Grace.
Carol. I've got some more lesbians. Um, which is good. Can I just say I have studied this film in school, so hopefully everything I'm now going to say is correct. Because if not, I won't pass my A level. So
To Grace's teacher, please be watching this, and I
yeah,
want a full dinos grading sheet sent to Grace of how well she can read this thing. And yeah, you will have to send it to him and Grace because I need this now.
yeah, Robert, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. Okay, so the main thing that I love about Carol is that it's a similar kind of thing with what you were saying about red, white, and royal blue about how gay people, how gay people are often represented as being all over each other and stuff. And they're kind of separated from straight couples, the representations are very, very different. But in Carol, they are just a couple. Like, I don't think the words gay or lesbian are ever said throughout the film. There's a couple of
Mhm.
bits where they're like, oh yeah, there are people like that and stuff, which yeah, it's not quite the same, but it's kind of like it doesn't matter that they're gay. It's not a gay love story, it's just a love story that
Amen.
happens to be gay. And
Hmm.
I think that's kind of something a representation that you do kind of need more. And you do have the attitudes towards queer people shown, even though it isn't explicitly like they're gay. And I think they do it very kind of subtly, but very well. This film is set in the early 1950s in America. So there's even less rights and there's more discrimination than there is now. But they still aren't completely in your face about it. It isn't like there is not a main message of that. There isn't, there isn't a scene where they go up to protesters like who are like God hates you, and they're like, no, we're who we are, or anything. There isn't really anything like that. And I think it's probably a little bit more accurate of how people were in the time, because if you did that, you could have been arrested or something. And like
Hmm.
that's really, really scary. So I believe that this is a more accurate representation.
Yeah.
It does also have some feminist messages, although they're not really the main messages, but the women represented, they're very, very strong. They're very kind of, this is what I want and I know that. Whereas the men are like a lot more needy and a lot more weak. They kind of go up to the girls and they're like, no, I need you back, or like, no, you can't leave me and go off with a woman. It's very like, even though they don't know it's gay, they think it's a friendship or something, but they're still very, very like, don't leave me, which I feel like is normally the other way around. And we need more representation like this. So um the cinematography throughout the film is very, I wouldn't say it's particularly in your face, but some people have thought of it like that with there's lots of filming through glass and windows and mirrors. the kind of creates this image of like people in invisible prisons. It's kind of the sort of they are trapped by their sexuality and by their gender, but it's kind of almost like they are invisible. You can't see them. Like you could walk past someone in the street and not know what's going on in their life. I think it does sort of make you think about that. Like there's lots of scenes where they're driving. It is partly a road movie, I would say, and they keep filming it through the glass of the car. You can still hear their conversation and stuff, which I feel like normally if they're filming from outside the car, it's like their secret. You know, we can't hear what they're saying. Whereas this is completely different. Um, so I quite like that. I think it's kind of sort of like the trapped, the kind of imprisoned kind of vibe. It's see the first time watching this film, I did not obviously pick up on it, whereas lots of people in my film class who were watching it as well, they were like it was really in my face. So I think there's lots of different views on that. I personally really like it. I think it's a good amount of it throughout the film. Um, the first scene really draws you in. It's a lot more subtle way of it's a bit more suggestive in the fact that they're a queer couple. Because it's a loop narrative. So it begins it's kind of a Hitchcock sort of trick of following someone that isn't then the main character. That character isn't seen again until the repetition of that scene later on in the film. And he's just kind of just sort of following him. And then he notices Therese, who most people align with in the film, mainly because of other techniques that I will talk about in a minute. But he kind of goes up and talks to Carol and Therese, and there's a moment where there's just a shot of Therese, and it's kind of a bit weird because normally because it's Carol and her friend Jack, maybe. I can't remember his name. He's pretty irrelevant. But her friend, and they're kind of talking, but you don't see their faces. It's just a shot of Therese, and Carol just has like her hand on Therese's shoulder for a moment. And it's like a moment too long, if you know what I mean. It's the sort of feel of like when you fancy someone and if you like touch their arm or something and you're like, wait, my hand is on their arm or something. It's the same kind of feeling of like, whoa, her hand is on her shoulder. It's been there a little bit too long. There's something going on there. So, and you kind of immediately go like, huh, I'm intrigued. And then it flashes back and you've got Therese working in the department store where Carol meets her. There's such an amazing scene that I love so much about Therese noticing Carol, and Carol just really stands out again through mise en scène with she has red lipstick, red nail varnish, and that really makes her bright up, especially because the mise en scène of the street it does reflect the early 1950s in America with a kind of economic crash. Um, so you can really, really see that. And Carol really stands out. She looks classy. She's got a fur coat. You know, she's done up in such a way where obviously it's Kate Blanchett playing her. So she can't look bad. She
Of
can't look bad.
course, of course.
But they make her just look so much like she's classy, she's sophisticated. You know, your eye is just drawn to her. And I think it's so good how they do it through that. And they've got
Of
some
course, your eyes are drawn to her. Of
sorry?
course, your eyes are drawn to her.
Yeah. To be honest, if you saw Kate Blanchett in any situation, your eyes would be drawn to her. And not just because she's famous. So you've got this lovely
That's
scene, they bond, they've got Carol leaves her gloves there, and Therese is like, I've got to do something about this. So they keep meeting up. You've got a lovely line where they've got the kind of trope of they go to a restaurant, Therese doesn't know what to order. And they've got a lovely line where Carol's like, "Oh, you're so odd. You're completely flying out of space." To quote, hopefully that's right. Um, and then they eventually go away together for Christmas. It isn't a Christmas film, however, it uses the magic of Christmas to create a magical feeling. I would
yeah.
say it isn't. I'm gonna compare it to Love Actually here, which is not a good comparison, but it will make sense when I yap about it, hopefully. Whereas the kind of Love Actually, there isn't Christmas doesn't really come into the plot. I guess you've got the Plenty Big Carol singer and stuff, and they're like a Christmas show, but you could kind of, I feel like you could pick it up and turn it into a summer film if you,
Yeah.
made a few tweaks. Um, and sadly, you would have to take out the "where the fuck is my fucking coat" line if it was in the summer, which would be tragic. But
Hey, you could just, it could be night.
it could be nice.
Or it
But
could be like today's sun, this summer,
yeah.
it's rain.
Thing is, you've got like the magic of Christmas in that, and that creates this romantic, magical feeling, which I think Carol also does.
Mhm.
You've got the driving scene, and it's kind of muffled noise and magical music, which has the same kind of image, and it's kind of muffled, which creates a kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. I feel like when you watch it, you just go like, oh my God. And it's just that kind of inexplainable feeling. And then they go and get a Christmas tree together. And Therese is there. She's very interested in photography and she takes some photos of Carol. It's like POV through the camera. You can see the camera as it focuses. And you've got the snow there, and Carol is looking, classy and sophisticated as always. But the snow, it creates such, I feel like it is kind of a Western thing, snow be magic, at least like England and America, the kind of magic of snow. Um, that I think, I know it does represent something different in different countries, but especially through England and America, it is the magical feeling. Like if it starts snowing when you're in a lesson and everyone grabs out their phone and runs to the window, it's kind
Yeah.
of that sort of magical feeling that I think the snow really captures there. And it's again like Therese looking, it's been described as like a film about looking, um, which is which you can really, really see in this scene. Um, and then yeah, kind of up and down kind of story. It's kind of, Carol does leave Therese at one point because of problems with her marriage. You can see the attitudes towards queer people there through how she is not given custody to her daughter during her divorce because she had a relationship with a woman. And again, these attitudes are shown through Therese's boyfriend, in air quotes, Richard, when he says, "Oh, I've met people like that." But there's always a reason why they're like that, and like there isn't. People are just like that. Deal with it, Richard. I don't like Richard. If you align with Richard or Harch, I don't like you. I'm gonna say that now. I'm gonna be opinionated. If you like the men in this film and you relate to them, um, you need to change your entire personality right now. Just letting you know.
I've
um,
never watched this film, so I will have to. I cannot disagree or agree, but from what you're saying, yeah,
you'll watch the film and agree with me. Just
yeah,
saying. Yeah. No one aligns with them, probably through filming as well, but their views are just completely outdated now, apart from, a few weird people that are still around. But let's not talk about them. Let's talk about the lesbians. The ending of Carol is so lovely. I think it's kind of like closure without closure, which I like because you can leave up to your imagination what happens to them, but you know that they end up together because there's this lovely moment where Therese walks into the bar with Carol, or it's almost sophisticated in the bar. It's like an upper class, looks like there's a bit of card dealing, I think, and drinks sort of vibe. But it's very kind of a sort of upper class place. And there's this lovely moment where they're just kind of looking at each other, and it's sort of like, it's gonna be okay. They're going to end up together, and it's gonna be a lovely moment. And it's so sweet. It's just so wholesome. And again, it does have that Christmas magic, even though it isn't, I wouldn't classify it as a Christmas film, but it is set at Christmas and it has that level of magic to it. And the score of this film is so beautiful, and especially beautiful for this end scene. And that is, kind of just what makes it so lovely and wholesome, this film. Because it's just so cute. You've got Kate Blanchett and Rooney Mara just kind of acting their hearts off, and Todd Haynes does a great job of directing it to really show off their acting, as well as really showing the story and creating symbolism. I feel like a little bit. I know film isn't massive on symbolism, but with the whole glass prisons, which, throwing in some knowledge here, Edward Lackman, hopefully I've got his name right, the cinematographer, did say the film is about entrapment, or a word similar to that I've misquoted. So it is very it is one of those themes that it's it is kind of the invisible prisons. It's the, being yourself. It's the not living against your own grain, as Carol says, when she really stands up for herself. And that's, again, interpreted differently by lots of different people. Um, yeah, it's just, I feel like it's nice. You can have different views about it as well. Because some people might want, a bit more of a closure ending of Trent actually saying, "Yes, I will live with you, Carol," or "Yeah, I want to be with you, Carol." But instead, it's, they just like each other. And for me, it's just so beautiful and so wholesome. And that's just why I love it, really, because it's just got such a lovely story and such a lovely ending. And every element of film form is just so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I hand over to you?
Okay. First of all, you may have wondered, why am I in a different position for the last time you've seen it? Unfortunately, scene call ended, and
Yeah.
we had to go.
It
So
might
that
have
is the
got a
reason
little
I'm in a
jump
different
cutty
position.
there.
Yeah, so we do apologize, but
Yeah.
we're moving on.
And if
So
you're
my
listening,
next,
Zoom, please have let calls go on for more than 40 minutes without paying, because please. Anyway, continue.
anyway, so my next film, I'm gonna probably get some hate for liking this, but it's Prom, or should I, the film version of Prom. To my musical theatre kids out there,
Yes.
I don't I don't care that you don't like this film. All
We
right.
are theatre kids and we will support any musical, as you can see by my voice.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. A lot of people did not like this film, and a lot of people who were in musical theatre did not like the fact, or like some of the songs were kind of a bit off. However, one of the major flaws is obviously the person who plays Barry, because James Corden is a piece of shit and should never be put on screen. Just saying it.
I say I feel like I can't hate on James Corden that much, but I mean, I didn't really love his performance. However, we are from the same town and we have the same birthday, so I feel like I can't hate on him that much.
No, because he's just a all round bad person.
He
But
is though.
he is a bad person. Like you can't deny it. He's just a bad person. And I know for a fact if he finds this, he's gonna try and sue us because he's that much of a bad person.
Please don't
But
sue us. Um,
we have no money. What are you gonna
we have no
sue?
money.
Ready? You want?
I'm
This
unemployed.
is what we're gonna pay you. This is what we'll pay you with. Ready? Ta-da!
For those
Nothing.
just listening and not watching, it is empty hands. There is no money. Please don't sue us.
So, but anyway, going on to the positives of this film.
Yes,
This
don't sue
film
us.
is stacked with amazing talent. We got Meryl Streep, Andrew Reynolds, Keegan Michael Peel. Isn't Michael Peel? No, Keegan Michael Key. Yeah, see, listen, I ship them too. It's fine. Um, but basically, this film is about this girl Emma, and Emma is a lesbian in Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, she wants to take a girl to the prom, and that has torn everything apart basically. The whole town's up in outrage about it. Like the principal's like really, no, not the principal, sorry, like the one of the PTA mums like tearing down prom, all that stuff. And how they help is these are some washed up Broadway actors. I'm gonna say washed up, like we're definitely not gonna be them in the next 10 years.
The, I mean, if you take out Broadway, that will
Yeah,
probably
a
be us in
West End.
10 years.
We're West End. We're West End. We're washed up West End
Will we?
kids. Yeah, we're washed up West End kids.
I hope I
Anyway,
get a job at the West End. Oh. Anyway,
but
continue before I start crying.
um, these washed up Broadway actors basically hear about what's going on and they're like, we need a story of us doing great so that I can boost our reviews up. And
One lesbian at a time.
one lesbian at a time. So they all go together and we're like, you know what? We need to help this girl. Right. I hear what's going on here, and frankly, I'm appalled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember
and
the next
no,
line.
and I read three quarters of a news story and knew I had to come unless I'm doing the miracle work. Okay, I'm gonna stop now before I mess myself up. Anyway, so they go through the story, basically trying to glow it up, basically be like, yeah, you go, girl. And while this is going on, we learn that the daughter of the PTA mum, Alyssa Green, is the girl that she wanted to take to prom.
Whoa,
So yeah, I know, right?
whoa, I
And
never knew that. Shocking.
and shocking. Um, they have Alyssa Green. The song is like one of the most moving, like one of the moving songs. But also, if you take out of context, it's one of the most manipulative moves I've ever seen. If you take because it's a beautiful love ballad, or like, but it's also she's manipulator saying, "Look at my pain. I know you. I look at my pain."
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. Oh my God.
It's like one of the most manipulative things. It's borderline Jason Dean from Heathers without the killing.
Oh, it kind of is. Oh my God.
Exactly. See.
Oh my God.
Um,
We're all going through
basically, the
podcasts.
reason how why they go to this song is basically they Emma gets told there's prom happening in this location when actually there was a prom happening in a different location and she got stood up by herself.
Heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking, I know. So eventually all everyone reconvenes and basically it's basically like, you know what? We're gonna stand for what's right and we don't care about the money anymore. We want to make sure that this girl is okay. And Emma sings this beautiful song, posts it online, it goes viral, and eventually they get to dance at prom and they bring all the queer kids from around the US and they all go to the same prom. It's one of the most moving things. Um, Now going deep diving into songs, seeing we are musical theatre kids.
Yeah.
It's the opening song and the ending song is like one of the most beautiful full circle moments. The first song is called Changing Lives, and Changing Lives is basically them be like, because we're acting and we're showing off emotion and we're portraying empathy, we're changing lives. We are giving stuff to people that we'll never give back. And then it's basically the end song is basically the exact same. However, instead it's actually genuine. They go from acting on stage to acting as a positive role models in this girl's life,
Yeah.
which
Very
is a
touched.
beautiful, a very beautiful full circle moment. And we have to talk about the main man himself, Andrew Reynolds, as the performance in Trent, one of the best characters in that damn film.
Can I
And
just
also one
add,
of the
Love Thy Neighbor is on my playlist, and I have no shame in that.
same, I have a whole musical playlist. You know how many Andrew Reynolds songs are on there? It's
Is it about
mostly
90% of it by any chance? Actually, no.
almost.
It's 90% of it Andrew Reynolds and Christian Bale. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm cool. Anyway,
You are.
yeah, if we were talking about gay musicals, falsettos would definitely be on there. But we are not. We're talking about prom.
Yeah.
Um, Also, coming from a guy who didn't have a date to his original prom, I'm going to a prom in like a week from now. But my first like year 11 prom, I didn't even have a date to go to. Seeing this, the year after, and how like people can come together to form a collective is is a beautiful moment, sentimental moment. Because that's what prom is about. Forgetting about all your worries, all the petty stuff that happened in school, and just let it go.
Yeah.
And it just that's what prom is all about. And it deals with themes of Christianity, themes with like abusive parents. And I want to say they throw it in there. I would say it's handled okay. It could have been handled better, but they didn't like, oh yeah, so Emma's depressed because, parents like threw her out. Yeah. It's not like that. Like it's established early on that she has thro- her parents have been kicked her out because she was gay. In the song, what was it? Just Breathe. Yeah, I think it was just the song Just Breathe.
Yeah, that's such a good song in that show.
Yeah, it's the one line where no, it was like I don't know how it starts.
Note to
Where
self,
it goes,
don't
it
be
goes
gay in Indiana.
no, it's the line in the song that goes who knew bring a girl to prom would just go down like an atom bomb and make things worse for your dad and mum. That
Yeah. I think some of the
Is
lines in musicals are so underrated, and that is one of them. Like they are kind of
yeah,
poetic in their own way.
yeah. I mean, I was very blatantly saying, yeah, I got kicked out because of it. It's basically is literally saying like is like this is all that's happening, but that's just like the tiny bit of granules that broke the camel's back. The short that broke the camel's back, and it's like beautiful. It's a beautiful message. I don't know who I forgot who the girl who played Emma was, but she again has also portrayed a realistic approach of a gay
I love
lesbian
her
character.
performance, as well as Ariana
Yes,
DeBuse's with Alyssa Green. Yeah,
yeah. And
that's
also, can we
coming out
just
soon. That is lovely.
and also Meryl Streep in this
Is Meryl
on
Streep
Prom.
ever bad?
I think if Meryl Streep is in a film or TV show, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's just how good she wants to be on that day.
May I say also Kate Blanchett, as we have mentioned, Carol. Those
Yeah.
two, they are both kind of,
Mm.
actors where like if they're in something, they're gonna
It's
be
good.
good.
Yeah. Um, Also, I like how they kind of reference other musicals as well, because obviously it's Broadway themed. Like they're gonna mention other musicals. Like the first song they do a different name, make up a whole new musical called Eleanor, which is basically about FDR and basically the
Yeah.
white FDR,
I think it is
the
almost
American.
mocking not like Hamilton and Six kind of historical musical. It's almost a little bit sort
Yeah,
of
it was,
like slightly mocking them a little bit.
and then we got the um, I forgot her character's name, the one in the green dress.
Oh my God, I forgot about her. That's really
Yeah,
bad. Don't
it
sue
is
me.
really bad. It's really bad. But
I kind of
basically,
liked her. Yeah, she was
her
alright.
whole song about Zaz, that's a whole Chicago number. A whole that's
Oh, of
entirely
course.
Chicago.
Yeah.
We Look to You, which is the principal song, which is like We Look to You, something like that. And
Is
that's
that
like a
that's the
whole.
I don't know as well.
That's more like I would say that's more like Wizard of Oz, or like emulating, because like he wants to look, he wants to look at you, and she wants to like look at him as well.
Yeah.
And there's like every single song is kind of tinged with like that musical theme. You could probably base every song as a um. Also, my favorite one of this is "Love Thy Neighbor."
Yes.
That's a Godspell song.
Oh, is it? I did not know
And
that.
no, it's not. It's not. It's like emulates a Godspell song with like the gospel choir
And they have
and
the
the
Godspell
whole
kids, don't they?
yeah the Godspell kids who are doing
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
show
And
on
they
tour.
also reference Wicked as well in Tonight Belongs to
Yeah,
You. I think it is James
yeah.
Corden, but he
It'll
sings
be I'll be Elfie, you're
You're the
Belinda.
Glinda. No, no,
Yeah,
yeah, you're
yes,
the Alfie, I'm the Glinda,
you'll
right?
be Elfie. Yeah,
Oh,
I'll be Belinda.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it was.
yeah.
Though.
Yeah. That's why I like prom. But now we're heading on to something that we're not normally like. We don't
We
have
have some
sentences.
quick fire questions just to because we have talked about our two favorite queer films or two queer films that we both really like in detail. And now we've got
Yeah.
some quick little questions, a few favorites throughout queer cinema and TV. So,
A little side note before we start though. So Grace sent me these questions like 10 minutes before we started recording.
yeah.
And I have zero prep. So this is just gonna be off the top of my
Oh,
head.
same. I tried thinking about them and I was like, half these questions are too hard. So we might end up yapping for another half hour. Who knows? Maybe
Who
check how long's
knows?
left on this because I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
okay. So favorite queer film.
It's Red, White, and Royal Blue.
I think I'm gonna go with But I'm a Cheerleader. Two
I
films
think
we
that
have both already talked about.
yeah,
Fine.
we can talk about in detail about those, and like that's the most recent one I've seen that has like proper pure representation. I feel like
Similar for
is good.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Favorite queer character.
you go first.
It's
I'm
so
sorry.
hard. Sorry, who'd you
Yeah,
say?
you go first. I can't choose.
Yeah, I can't choose either. I was thinking about this and I was like, yeah, it will just come to me. It hasn't. Um, I'm slowly trying to think about every single film and show I've watched. Um, we should have prepared for this.
We should have. But
We should have compared. Yeah. Trying to think.
favorite,
If I go, but I'm a cheerleader, I will say Graham is like she's. I kind of like how she's sort of stereotypical lesbian, but not stereotypical lesbian. That is kind of the sort of any queer character like that, where they're the stereotype, but not entirely the stereotype, is good. A TV show on Netflix called Everything Now, where there's a character called Will, and he Will, I hope it's Will, otherwise I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Um, and it's sort of like he's really camping gay, and it's kind of like he is a reason why. It's sort of the characters like that where they are kind of stereotypical, but there's a reason, it isn't just like, oh yeah, because they're gay, it's just like that is who they are. I like characters like that.
okay, I think I've came on with my decision. I think
Okay.
my favorite gay character is Angel Dust from Has Been Hotel.
Oh my God.
I was thinking,
Okay,
I'm
that's a
like,
good
should
one.
I do it? Should I do it?
Go
And
for
I'm
it.
like, okay, let me. The reason why I like him so much isn't for the fact he's just a sex symbol, which is just me as a human being, but because as you see, perfect sex symbol right here. But um, he is the most. I feel like the most developed character out of that entire show. His
100%.
entire point about liking the whole idea of sex is so he can get broken so much. His boss can never use him again. That's the
I think
whole
we
point.
have mentioned us duetting Loser Baby before on the podcast, with you as Angel
Yeah,
Dust and me as
I
Huss.
think we do need to record that. And
I think we should. I think maybe one time we should do it when we're sober and can actually sing it with a clear head. Maybe we should
yeah,
record it then.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, we will. We That's a promise we made on this podcast still right now. Once we are
Well,
sober and we can do it,
once
we
we are
will
in the same
record it.
room and sober, we will
Yeah,
perform Loser Baby for YouTube or TikTok, probably TikTok because of lengths. But yeah, it's coming at some point.
yeah.
Okay. Favorite queer TV show? I feel like I know the answer to this for you.
Go on, try yes.
Is it by any chance Has Been Hotel?
It's not. You're wrong.
Is it not? What is it?
It's not. Um, okay, this is going to be completely out of left field, but my favorite queer TV show is Queer Eye.
Okay, yes. No,
So
that is a good show.
let me tell you why. So Queer Eye, for those who haven't seen it, is basically like a personal makeover show, which is like reality TV show. But there are five different people that go out and try to help people's lives. So you got Bobby, who's like home design. You got Tan France, who's like a fashionista. You
Yeah.
got Jonathan Van Gross, who's like a hair and beauty
And
person,
an
icon,
icon, may I just say. They are
icon.
all icons, especially Jonathan.
Anthony, who's like the food and drink person, and then you got Karamo, which is like the culture, which is like the mental health and people side of it. And I watched all 8 seasons in about a month. Um,
I think
and
I watched them all like with my mum in the space of about 2 weeks or a month or something. And it was
the,
great.
and the reason why I like the show is because a lot of people in like the community like would say their biggest thing is, oh, that they're being gay is their entire personality. That's the biggest standing point about it. But when it comes to karate, when they're trying to change people, they're not trying to convert them to the gay.
There's
Even though
no
they even
opposite conversion or anything. It's, yeah.
like it's basically like we accept you for being whoever you are, you straight, gay, like unicycle. We don't care. Um, Basically, this is how we can help, and this is just strictly how we do it. How we're gonna help you personally, not like this is how the gay person would do it.
Yeah.
That's me
It's
personally.
helping their
That's how.
entire lives as well. Like most makeover shows are like, oh yeah, we'll just put a bit of makeup on you or we'll get you a new outfit. This is every single aspect of their life. And I
Yeah,
can't, I think the tagline is more than a makeover, and it really is.
yeah,
Like,
100%.
I know that this isn't fictional, it's not like they're written this way or anything, but the people are really, really good on there. And I think it's just so like so lovely to see as well, all of the, you've got different people and they're just being themselves, and they're helping other people be themselves as well, which
Mm,
really is kind of what Pride is about.
yeah,
Even though lots of people they help are straight, they still
yeah,
have the kind of Pride theme to them, and it's lovely.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite queer TV show then?
Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna have to go with Young Royals because on Netflix. It's Swedish.
Mm.
It's really, really good. It's so moving, so like it's it's got a similar vibe to Red, White, Royal Blue couple wise, with the you've got Wilhelm who is the Prince of Sweden, and you have wait, oh my God, why is his name gone from my head? That's really embarrassing.
It's your
Oh
favorite,
my
yeah?
God, wait, um, oh, Simon or Simon, if you're pronouncing it right. And it is and he's kind of much more left wing, sort of like how Alex is a Democrat. And it's, they're like completely different, but they're still like drawn to each other. And it's that kind of thing. I think they are, I, I would refer to it as like the gay Netflix couple, where you have the brunette slightly more left wing, often curly hair, and it's, they're a bit more kind of confident in themselves. They have more ability to be themselves, whether that's because they've been forced out like Charlie Spring, or whether it's because they're just open with being whoever they are, like Simon. And then you've got the other one who's, I believe, a little bit more slightly posher, slightly, kind of a bit more fits in, like Nick Nelson, kind of is their blonde golden retriever energy. I feel like all of the couples are like that, but I think it works especially well in Young Royals. And you've got like lots of the other side characters are really good. Like I love Felice. Yeah. Right. Should we go on to the next question?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. Favorite queer ship. This is again a really, really hard one because there's just so many. I think not to touch on the other question, I think we're going to say favorite canon queer ship, which narrows it down by a lot, I would say.
No.
Don't worry, because the next question will allow you to yap about your headcanons. So for favorite queer ship, I think actually I don't know what I think. um,
I think can we
maybe
I
going
feel like we can go with obvious ones.
yeah, I think all of every my toxic trait is that if there's a gay ship, I get fully behind it. Even if it's awful, I'll be like, it's gay, so I will support it. Which about 99% of the time. Obviously,
It
there's
doesn't really
one
work
where I'm kind of like, hold on a minute. But very, very rarely. Do you know what I'm gonna say for this one? I'm gonna say our flag means death. Um, with Blackbeard and oh my god, what's going on in my brain? Why do I keep forgetting everybody's names? Um, Reese Darby's character and Taika Waititi's character, and their Steve Steve Bonnet and Edward Teach. There we go. And those two, there's something about them where they kind of go, and they're also just so funny. And I know they're friends in real life, and there's lots of improvisation on set, and you can see that in their acting how close they are. I believe they are actually both married to women, and I don't know what they thought when they watched the show. They must have been a bit like, what's going on between my husband and his best friend? Probably a similar thing with Good Omens, I feel like, with
Yeah,
Michael Sheen and David Tennant, where everyone must, I feel like their wives be watching this like, are our husbands gay? And I think that's quite entertaining to me. Anyway, what would you say?
yeah. My favorite canon spaceship is Helipabos. And my favorite one out of Helipabos is Osmodius and Fizaroli.
I've not seen Hell of a Boss.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna spoil. Unfortunately I have to spoil it because we didn't. So Grace, please cover your ears. Do the la la
no.
la's. Okay, but actually, you know what? I won't do spoilers, but I will suggest things that could lead you to the right direction, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll forget about that. That's fine. Okay.
Okay, so basically, Osmodius is like the king of lust, like he's the god of lust, well, demon of lust, whatever you want to call it. And Fizarali is um um I forgot the name too now. Blitz, there you go.
It's
It's
contagious.
Blitz. Yeah, yeah. Blitz is old, like basically brother at this point. And basically they used to not like each other. Now they're kind of friends. And what's what's going on here is the god of lust can't love. His entire thing, he does not like love. Like
That's so
lust is the only thing. It's like friends but benefits. That's the most he can go with, right?
so kind of like a romantic.
Yeah, he can't like
Okay,
he can
nice.
have sex. Like he can have sex. Like that's his entire thing. Sex is his
Okay.
entire thing. But when it comes to Fizz, this little clown imp that no one like he should be nobody. He basically falls in love with this but like this person. But Fizz already has really damage from other stuff. He's already been owned by another demon. And yeah, it is deep. Like there's he's so protective of Asmodeus because obviously like he's like talk if you talk to him, I'll fucking rip your head off. It's fucking just every like queer ships. Like you need how someone's like, oh, we'll rip your head off if you talk to them. I feel like most people can agree protectiveness is hot.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think lots of people agree on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the next question?
Go on.
Okay, favorite queer headcanon.
Okay,
Is
done.
this where you are unleashed?
Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna go with this. Um, headcanon. I literally had it since the last one. Oh my god, wait.
Do you want me to say mine or you
I know
remember?
this one.
Well, Jay,
There
go
we
ahead
go.
and then oh,
Perfect.
have you remembered? Go for it.
Okay, got it. Um, for those who know me, there's one musical that I like above all else, and I've sung it on my Instagram Theatre. Go vote. Um, so my one is Ride the Cyclones, Misha Paczynski, and Noel Gruber.
Okay, yeah. I feel like is that a headcanon though?
It is a headcanon because Misha Paczynski is still very much engaged to Talia. Even though he is dead, he is still very much he's still very much engaged to Talia.
But bisexuality.
Yes, but still, it's
I
like
guess
at the
yeah,
end of
it's
the day,
not confirmed, is it? They do
he's
kiss on
still
stage, but
they
it's not
do
confirmed.
kiss on stage, but it's like in it. It's like how a show kiss.
Yeah. One of them is also dressed like a girl, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So you
And he
can
wants to be
you
a
can
girl. So
headcanon anything out of that as well.
yeah.
Um,
What about yours, Grace?
I'm gonna go Criminal Minds, which I believe you haven't seen.
I have heard of it. I think I know what you want. I think I know what you're gonna say. But
I'm
go
gonna say
ahead.
Spencer Reid is bisexual. That's
And
gonna be
who
my
should
favorite headcanon because he was originally written as bisexual,
yeah.
but then the writers were like, no, we aren't actually gonna make him bisexual. Instead, we're gonna have him have a crush on his female co-worker. And I'm sorry, writers, I love you, but what was going on in your heads? Because you can be bisexual and still fancy people of the opposite gender. That's kind of the whole point of it. So, criminal minds writers, you are incredible. I'm so sorry for the trauma that led you to write such horrific murders. But girl, what? please, please, bring him back and make him bisexual. I'm only on season 9, but I know he leaves. Um, and yeah, because there was something going on with him and Derek Morgan, let's be real. So that's my
Next
favorite
question.
headcanon. Okay, favorite coming out moment.
Well, I've said it.
Red, white, and royal
Red
blue.
Rise White Blue. Alex is coming out.
Okay. I'm gonna say my favorite is from Torchwood. Oh my god, what is my brain with names today? Yanto Jones is coming out scene. It isn't, I like it because it isn't necessarily saying, oh yeah, I'm gay or I'm bisexual. He doesn't specify anything. Um, I think the line that I love so much is because basically him and his sister sat down and his sister's like, it's so weird. My friend saw you out with this guy and it was looking really, really intimate. Like, what's going on there? And he was like, and I his line instead of saying I identify as this or whatever, he just says, it's not men, it's just him. And I think there's something about that where it's kind of like there's so much. media where it's kind of like, oh yeah, if you like the same sex, that's your has to be your whole thing. But it's not for him. It's just that he is just attracted to Jack, and I think that's one of the things that you just don't get enough. And I just loved it so like it's just such a beautifully written line. It's so simple and oh, I just love it. Can I also have a little honorable mention here to Hasbin Hotel, where Charlie says to Lucifer, yeah, this is Maggie, my girlfriend, and he's like, oh my god, we both like girls, we've got so much in common. And
Yeah, top 10 moment.
I was like, oh my god, that's what more dads need to say. Just saying.
Yeah.
If
If
you're
my
a
daughter
father,
comes out lesbian,
yeah,
I'll say it.
yes, exactly. Okay, favorite iconic queer moment. I wrote. I don't know what I was getting at there because the next question is favorite quote from a queer character. And I feel like those are kind of the same thing. And I have my favorite line from the entirety of TV that I would like to share for this,
Go
if I
on,
may go
go on,
ahead.
go on.
Right. This is season 2, episode 6 of the UK's version of Ghosts because the US's version is rubbish. I'm sorry. Don't sue me, but
Yeah,
it's rubbish.
it's true.
It's when the captain says it's chic and it's now, and if it makes her feel fabulous, then very good. And
There.
that is modern feminism talking. I love him. He's such an incredible little gay man. What's your favorite?
Um, I'm going to pull from a little short film that we did. So if you
Go
haven't
on.
seen Dear Thrills, please go watch it because then you'll understand some of these references. Um, um, it's so Dear goes, okay, are we good to go? Page. And he goes, of course. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And it's just under his breath. The guy Alex, who you will see in the next podcast that's coming up, his line delivery and pretty much everything is just perfect. Just like Matt
That's
Berry's,
great.
he
Oh
he
yeah.
just knows how to deliver
Also,
lines.
Matt Berry in What We Do in the Shadows. Every quote
Mm.
from him is gay and beautiful. Because gay is in, gay is hot.
Yeah,
I want some gay. Gay it's gonna be.
yeah.
Yeah. In
And
the
me saying
final
that.
in the final few minutes, may we have some honorable mentions of queer moments from Grat Crag Productions films. Obviously, we do have Dear Frills, People versus the Outside, where that it's pretty gay. However, we do also have A Gay New Year,
Yeah,
which I would like to refresh any we have any fans of that because you may want to know some context about that for December this year.
yeah.
Just letting you know.
You do need
Um,
to
you
advise it.
may have me back again going, Daryl is real and he is straight, okay? And maybe Daryl will be appearing, perhaps in the form of Jacob. Who knows? Um,
Yeah,
we may get some more people actually being revealed in the
okay.
closet. We may have some more of that. We may have a few more. Daryl, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gay. We may have a few more. Delulu isn't always the Salulus.
Yeah.
We may have
Once.
some more. You know what? Stevens, um, which if you watch the bloopers, there are about 20 of those because I corpse. Um, so yeah, that's just letting you know. Any other lines you'd like to share in the last couple minutes, Jacob?
No, but I would like to say as a little bit of promo.
No.
We Me and Grace have decided we are going to start a new set of a new channel called Crack Crag Theatre.
Yeah, so it's very in the workings at the moment.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know how it's
and
going to go because obviously lots of theatre shows need a massive budget, which we don't really have. But you know,
Grace has not seen this yet because I've held this information and I made it today.
what?
But yeah, I have designed the set pieces for the show that we are going to try and do, and we will show you the behind the scenes of.
Yeah, there may be
So
a documentary on that as well coming out at some
yeah,
point.
so I will show this. Grace will understand every single bit of this, but maybe the viewers won't. But I don't know if you can see it. I'll send the picture over later.
I don't
But
understand. Oh, I kind of understand it. However, if you're listening to this on Spotify, you will
you
not be
just have
able
to
to
watch it
see
on
this.
YouTube. You just
There's
have to watch it on YouTube as
You'll have
well.
to rewatch the entire thing on YouTube, guys. Get us those views. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's
Or
a
you could just
shame.
skip to the last like 2 minutes and watch it because I think that might still count as a view.
Yes, so can
Anyway,
send me.
go on, guys. Anyway, that is the end of this podcast episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe so you can listen to us yap about loads of other films as well as our own short films, which you can watch on YouTube. There are also some clips on TikTok and on Instagram. Please also follow us on Instagram for film and TV suggestions. I'm doing all the promo as quickly as I can so I don't bore you and you don't just turn this off, which I'm suspecting everyone already has. Um, keep
But for those, but for
Please do. If you're still here, thank you so much, Susan, for staying till the end. I know you're listening. Um,
and
if you
for
watch more of our
Susan who's
things, you'll understand
watching,
that reference.
and for Susan watching, remember, you may be by, but you're not by yourself. Thank you very much.
Go
Thanks
on,
for watching.
Susan. So, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you'll listen or watch or read again. Bye.
Bye.